Ari Drafters, got a bit of a different video on today. It's what I call a flash draft. I've sped up a draft. I'm going to commentate over it. I think it might be a little bit fast. Let us know about what you think about the speed. But it was a really sweet draft. There was some cool stuff going on, some really cool interactions, and I have an amazing loss in this. So yeah, let us know what you think, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so pack one, pick one, and it's a pretty easy Blackson's Twilight here. A couple of other options that I could have went for: the Brutalizer, the 4-mana 4/4 that you can proliferate with. And that's probably the only thing I would really look at here. I don't really like being in black. I think it's the worst colour, but I think Blackson's Twilight is a really good reason to go for it. The black cards which might wheel, the Pestilence Siphoner is pretty good, and the Black Belly Right is fine as well. I think I prefer the Siphoner, but yeah, Blackson's Twilight, I can't really pass that, especially pack one, pick one. If I am going black though, I probably want to be black-white. I don't think I like any of the other black colour pairs. So Jawbone Duelist I think is the strongest card here in black-white. The black cards aren't really doing anything. The Jawbone Duelist is a 2-drop. The Indoctrination Assistant is a 4-drop, and I'm definitely more interested in a 2-drop than I am in a 4-drop. Also, the Indoctrination Assistant, it's a common, so I'm likely to get one a little bit later on, and you can see there's one here as well. This pack, Necrogen Communion, not really particularly interested in, and this is probably the problem with black. There's not very many great black cards, but Bonepicker Scourge is a good one. It is between that and the Indoctrination Attendant here. Go for the Bonepicker Scourge. I would prefer a toxic card of the 3-drop slot, but if I'm going to go for a non-toxic one and I'm trying to get corrupted, that's pretty good if you ask me. A couple of options here. You got Offer Immortality, you got Black Belly Rat. There's a couple of cool things. I went for Against All Odds. This is partly because I was interested to see what it was like. I've not really played with it. I think it's really good actually, and you'll see when I go into the games it does play off quite well in what I'm doing. So I was pleased to get it. Here though, I don't want the second Against the Odds. I want the Duelist Deep Faith. I think the 2-drop is going to be really important here, and that's a key card if you're going to be playing the black-white deck. I would prefer Jawbone Duelist over it all day, but I suppose Duelist Deep Faith is also quite good. Got another Bonepicker Scourge here. Again, quite happy to pick it. There wasn't really anything else which was doing the same game plan as we were looking at there. Here it's between the Vanish into Eternity and Offer Immortality. I don't mind the Vanish into Eternity. I think it's quite good. I probably don't want to play more than one. Offer Immortality, similar. It's good at protecting creatures. It's good at like just stopping them from dying. Can't even remember which one I went for here. Was it the Vanish or was it the Offer Immortality? Don't want the Custodian, but yeah, Vanish into Eternity is just a removal spell. It's a 6-mana. I want to remove anything, and 3-mana to remove something else. Unfortunately, I do get another one here. I don't really want the second one unless I've really got to play it. And the back end of this pack isn't doing a huge amount. So at this point, pretty happy with how I've done. You can see I got the Indoctrination Attendant back. And, you know, Blackson's Twilight is a reason to go into black. I've not really had a very good look with black-white. But here we've got a really good opening, Elesh Norn, so definitely slamming that. There are some other good options as well. We've got another Duelist Deep Faith there. We've also got the Hex Gold Hoverwings, and you know that's a pretty strong card. Probably go for the Hoverwings if I didn't get the Elesh Norn. But yeah, don't have many good ETB things yet, but that could be made better. You know, we could get around that. Here it's between the Fencing Raptor and the Duelist Deep Faith. I think I'm happy with just getting the 2-drop on the 3-drop here. Definitely want 2-drops in the format, as you know, they've no doubt heard a lot of people say. There's nothing else really which is in contention. The Pestilence Siphoner, maybe, but you know, I think the 2-drop white card is the better one to have. This one here, not a lot going on. So let's take the rare. It's going to be 20 gems, but we're getting an Annex Sentry here, and that's an amazing pickup. I think it's a really strong card, and especially if we get to do some silly things with Elesh Norn, you can exile 2 things with it, and then you're really off to the races, and it's a pretty good place to be in. Nothing exciting here. I got a second Complete Devotion. I don't really like multiples of them, but they're fine. I got the Fencing Raptor, and again, happy to pick that up at this point. I kind of wanted it early when I had to pick up the Duelist of Deep Faith. Not a lot going on here. I've got 2 Complete Devotions already. I don't really want a 3rd combat trick, so I'll go for the rare. Partly because it's 20 gems, but also if I can open a really good blue card, then I can use that to splash the blue card, and I think that's a good place to be. Checking the curve here, you can see I go to the horizontal view, and yeah, I think I'm happy to take a 4-drop here. Not really anything exciting going on here. I love Uncle Refitter, but I'm not going to be playing it. Look at the Cephalopod Sentry. I think I do take it here because I probably won't play it, but I do have the blue to splash it if I want to, and there wasn't anything else going on. And you can see the back end of this pack, not a huge amount going on. I do get a Dross Pits, which is a nice land to pick up, but yeah, just kind of tidying up the rest of the pack here. Going into pack 3, Mercurial Spelldancer. I do have the opportunity to splash, but I don't think it's worth it in this deck. It's a strong card if you're doing that, but Duelist Deep Faith I think just does our plan a lot better, and I think it's going to be the much better pick here. Unfortunately, And I think, some of those bad rare packs are really annoying in this set. Annex Sentry here, though, is a really, really easy pick. You can see I just snapped it up. There wasn't really much look at the rest of the stuff in the pack. Charge the Mites here, I think it is the best card. It's a removal spell. It's not like amazing, but it's pretty good. You can get a couple of the little 1/1s as well, the Mites, if you really want to. You've got Annihilating Glare. I think there's potentially an argument for the Annex Mover, but the Annihilating Glare is pretty good. Bilious Skull Dweller is an absolutely strong card for this. You can play that turn 1 into a Duelist Deep Faith turn 2. You're really, really happy with that. We've got a potential another Complete Devotion. I don't really want 3 of them. Another Zealous Conviction. I've not got one of these yet. I think it's fine, but I don't think it's really super amazing. And I just picked up a couple of rares because there's nothing else really in the pack that I want. There's some really good red stuff in this one, which is a little bit annoying, but because I would love to be in a nice red-green deck or red-white deck, but I think this deck itself is fine. I think it was looking all right. The games are really interesting. I think that I will speed them up a little bit and I'll talk through them, but the games that I end up playing are pretty cool. I win a lot of them. I don't win all of them, and I think that the losses, multiple, singular. I think that they are quite interesting themselves. Go to deck building, and we've got the 40 cards there. You can see I'm kind of fixing the curve. I don't want to cast Black Sun's Twilight as a 1-drop, and really Annihilating Glare I like to say as a 5-drop. And just kind of looking what I've got. I've got the June Mover on the side, which I think I end up bringing in. So I get 2 June Movers in the main because 2 mana, 2 power, Toxic 1 is pretty good. I don't often use the getting the land to the top in these decks, but sometimes when you have to, it's pretty good. Here you can see I've got 3 mana. I've got 3 land cards rather. I've got the June Mover as well. Happy to hold the Dross Pits for now. Kind of get in, get some Toxic on them, get some poison counters on them, and the game, for early gate turns, just kind of go trading a few cards. It wasn't really worth seeing, but you can see at this point, they've got the Skull Bomb here, and they go to give their thing flying, but I use the Black Sun's Twilight to remove it, which stops them from drawing the card, because it no longer has an ability. I think that was a really good play. I think that was the right thing to do, and I think it did end up winning this game pretty much because they didn't get to draw that card. Bit of a selection advantage of this, but I get the Offer Immortality to protect my thing, and that's just enough for them. So first game, nothing really much to report. It was using the Black Sun's Twilight without having the full use of it, but I think it was a pretty good way to have it. See here, lands, spells, pretty happy. Let us know what you think about the speed of the footage here, because okay, maybe in hindsight now it is a little bit quick, but I think it is cool just to kind of see it going at this fairly quick rate, and to get through the games and just allow us to talk about it, give you a bit of a highlight reel of what's going on. I did think about just kind of clipping it down and just kind of showing you the highlights. The only footage I actually clipped out was in the last game, and when I was going through it, there was no other real good times to do that. But I was let us know what you think. It's just a bit of a different type of gameplay footage that I thought people might find interesting, and I have really went town on, making a bit of sped up. You can see here, though, they've removed my thing. I've got a 2/4 out there, stuck on lands a little bit. I'm pretty happy with how things are going here. They go digging, and they're still getting your lands, so this is a bit of a free win. Not the opponent's fault at all. Happy to take out their thing, get in for a bit of poison, so they're now at 5 poison, and they're going to be in a real tough spot. I knew I had the Charge of the Might as well if they were going to play something else straight after, and then I get them to 9 with this, and that's a pretty awesome place to be. One of my creatures needs to get in from this. They do get the last land, but they don't really manage to do anything with this. I draw the card. Those lands in these games, those lands have done really, really well. So, I don't know. I like playing 1. I don't like playing 2 really. Sometimes it will depend on the speed of my deck. And you see here, sometimes when you get 2 of them in hand, it's going to be a little bit problematic. I mean, it wasn't problematic because it was fine, but getting in and getting the card draw later on. But opponents on a similar game plan, getting in that Toxic quite early. I've got the Black Sun's Twilight in hand. I've got my 5th land in hand as well. All I need is 1 more and it really turn it on. Probably don't go for the June Mover with it, but pretty happy if I do get there. Getting rid of the 2/2 Double Striker was really cool here as well. Happy with whatever I draw here. If I draw land, then I can Annihilate and Glare. I've got some good options here of what to do. And if I Annihilate and Glare and sacrifice a creature, then next turn I can Black Sun's Twilight. If I get the land, and I can get the creature back. So that's part of the reason why I was quite happy trading off a creature there. They get a few things out. It's looking, alright, but I do get that land. They block. I trade off, and then when they cast something here, I'm able to take it out and then get something back. And I'm pretty happy, and it just shows the power of this Black Sun's Twilight. Work at instant speed after they attack. and I can just really get in and kind of start cashing things in here. They do manage to, they seem to have a decent deck, but I think the removal was really what sold it here for, what I was doing. Here, they've got a couple of options. Obviously, they've got the first strike, but I can buff my stuff, get kill their stuff for first strike damage, get a nice 3-4 really, because I draw a card, take out 2 of their things, and just the value is way too much for them. I think that was a pretty good back and forward game though, and I think it was quite interesting. Here, again, we've got a little bit of an issue with the lands, but I don't really have a 1-drop, so it's less of an issue. I can play the Dross Pit, then play the plains, and kind of hold up something and see what I want, especially now I've drawn on the plains. Got the Blackson's Twilight in hand as well, so, I've really said how strong of a card that is. Got a few options here. Happy to play the Dune Mover with a tap land, and then I can threaten to get the extra toxic next turn. Probably not going to happen, but it's worth trying to do that. They're playing stuff. They're playing lands. They're playing spells. We can get a couple of spells out here, and I don't know. At this point, it's like tough to say which way it's going to go. The Blackson's Twilight, I think, is hopefully going to do some good work, and it's a question whether they want to trade off here. Do they have any tricks to get around things? But them not casting a spell was like really tough, or not being able to cast that spell there. Testament Bearer is pretty cool, and they do trade it off here with. No, they don't trade it. Yeah, they do trade it off. No, they sacrifice the artifact. That's right. Yeah. But having the Blackson's Twilight to get back my thing to kill their Testament Bearer, and yeah, I think that's they do get a draw card off it, but it means I get it again for 1 more toxic, and then my Bonepicker Scourge is online, and it's got lifelink and death touch, and it's a really powerful place to be. I've also got 2 of the lands to cash in. They play an Archfiend of Dross. Luckily, I've got the removal spell in hand to deal with straight away, and at this point, I was really feeling in really commanding position. I'm 24 life. They're at 9. They've got 4 poison counters, and I've got a card draw on board here to do whatever I really need to do. They've got this Nitro Titan here. And I do manage to deal with it quite luckily. So you say I get the Onyx Sentry, that can go for the Cutthroat Centurion, and then I've got the Charge of the Might. So if I swing with everything, and they either can let everything through, and I get some poison, I get some damage, but I can Charge of the Might to get rid of their thing, because I got the first strike damage as well, and that was it's not a big brain play really, but it's a pretty good play to have as well. They've got 2 Shielder's Edict, but at this point they're pretty dead and they can't really do very much, so they scoop it up. So I think it's 3-0 at this point, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with how things are going. We've got another decent hand here. It's just got a really good curve out. Okay, they managed to take my 1-drop, but that's absolutely fine. Don't need the land. I've got plenty of things in hand if I don't manage to go off. Happy with the Jawbone Jewelers because I don't have a creature to play here, but it got countered, that's fine. Another Archfiend of Dross. Now, the interesting part here, so I could have Offer Immortality, which gives a death touch, and that's one way to trade off. Obviously, they didn't block. I could Annihilate Glare here, and you can say I thought about it, but then I decided to go back on that, because if I can against all odds to flicker my Dune Mover to get the Jawbone Duelist back, and then I put a land on top of my library for next turn. So I draw the land, and then I don't need to trade my creature off with the Annihilating Glare and just to hit their thing. So the playing blue, I am at risk of a counter spell here, but I could have sacked the Dune Mover and it would have been fine. I'd have been happy enough with that trade to sack the Dune Mover and the removal spell for the Archfiend because it's a really powerful spell. But I thought this was the better way to do it. You see, I swing in, kind of hoping that they're going to use some of the mana, so I'm not leave myself open to a counter spell. And I was really worried about it at that point, but clearly they didn't have it, so that was a pretty good place to be. The Mesmerizing Dose, a little bit annoying, but I'm still getting in there. They're at 6 poison, they're at 10 life. They're not playing anything. They must be flooded. At this point, if they're not playing anything, I kind of know they're not. That's at least 2 lands in hand, and protect my stuff. Yeah, that's the Offer Immortality is really good. I've managed to save. What did I save? Vorinclex. I saved a Vorinclex with Offer Immortality from Board Wipe. And, that was a fantastic play to have. But, yeah. Here, again, curve out's fine. Don't have a 1-drop. They've got a 1-drop. They've got stuff going on. But we've got the Jewel's Deep Faith. They can't really attack through that very easily now. And, yeah, okay, they've got the Planar Disruption. But we've got that against all odds in hand. So we know that if we trade something off, then we can flicker the Jewel's Deep Faith and then get the thing back from the graveyard. So, pretty good place to be there. Happy to swing in. Play the 1-drop. Got the Pump Spell in hand. And yeah, happy to trade off the 1/1, and then I can get that back with the against all odds. They attack in. I've got the offer of immortality there now as well. I can give that death touch. I could no, I didn't want to do the complete devotion on that because I want to be able to draw a card with it, because you only draw a card if you target something that's toxic. So that's why I went for the one that I did. They swing in. I get some toxic. I've got the against all odds, so like I said, it frees up the Duelist Deep Faith. I get the 1/1 death touch back. Feels pretty good. They do have another planar disruption though, which is a little bit annoying, but it's just one of those things. I still got the value off it. I got them to use the same removal spell twice on the same creature, so I feel pretty good. Complete devotion here on the death toucher, so I get to draw a card. Draw 2 really good cards here. So Fencing Raptor I'm really happy with, as well as the 4 mana 2/4 Menacer. It blocks really well, and they don't really have much of anything going on here. So you're saying getting in, getting the poison in, getting the damage in. They're not really doing a huge amount. I've got the Reader Command and board presence, and I can just draw cards with those things there. Now, attack here, and you can see they're having a thing. I'm going to pause the game, because what I do is I say, at this point, they could have a Whitesun's Twilight, or they could have a Wandering Emperor, and I was worried about both of those cards. They've got white, so they can cast either of those cards. They've got a lot of mana, and I was worried that they would do that, and then they would find a way to win from there. They would wipe my board out. They would just leave us with a 1/1 Death Touch or a Fencing Raptor, something I wasn't that bothered about. In fact, probably leaves us with Duelist Deep Faith if they had a Wandering Emperor, of course, because that's under the enchantment there. And I would want to keep that, the 3 mana 2/2 flyer in hand, if they did do that, because I would want to be able to come back, especially as Whitesun's Twilight, because I think the Wandering Emperor would be able to deal with the Bonepicker Scourge. But I was holding back because I was in a really good place. I had the flyer, I had the menace creature. I was leaving a blocker up in case I had any shenanigans here, and yeah, I was worried about it. But they win. Try and guess what they win with, because I wasn't thinking, and I do think it was correct to keep the Bonepicker Scourge in hand. If I didn't, I would have won. So yeah, let's have a look together what actually happened. So you can tell they're kind of thinking they're having a good count through, and they very quickly slam the Graz here. So it turns all their stuff into 5/3s. First glance you think, oh, it's fine because it's only 15 damage and I'm at 13 life and I can block one of them, so it's 10 damage. But they've got the Cacophony Scamp there, so when the Cacophony Scamp dies, it deals another 5 damage to me. And then if I block it with a Death Toucher, it dies, and then the 2 creatures deal 5 damage to us. Or they can do it this way, and the hitters with it, they sacrifice it, they proliferate, and they do 5 damage to us that way. So I lost that one. But it was a really, really sweet loss. It was just like top decking that card. I couldn't really have played around it. And it's just one of those things. But it was pretty fun. Here, got a pretty similar kind of curve out deck. We've seen a few of these, and that's part of the reason why I'm speeding things through, because I think it's an interesting set of games, but there's not a huge amount else going on. But here you can see they've got the Charforger there, kind of getting the Death Touch, feeling pretty good. Got another Bonepicker Scourge there. I can, against all odds, if I really need to do something, they're having a good old think. Full Charge was a little annoying, but I still have one thing to attack with in the air. Swinging with it, I can sack the land, draw some cards. The Annex Entry is pretty good, but I can't get rid of the 2/4. Can't get rid of one of those things. That's pretty good. I've got the, like I say, I can still swing in the air, and I do. I don't really want to attack with a Dune Mover at this point, though, because I can't really use the removal spell in a particularly good way against either of these cards. Maybe I could have used the Annex Entry first, but, against 3 power creature with the +2/+2 and the Dune Mover, it's not going to do a huge amount of what I want. I think I prefer to keep a hold of it in case they try and burn out one of the Annex Entries instead, so I can use it for that. Draw another Dune Mover. I've got the Against All Odds in hand. I can swing in here. I can use the Complete Devotion to do whatever, but I'll just Against All Odds back Bonepicker Scourge because I've got to deal with it. Unfortunately, do draw the removal spell straight away. I get the Elish Norn though, and this is a really good position. So they've drawn something, they're having a thing. They can't really, don't really do anything. I get in for the 4 damage there. Obviously don't get through, but it's got vigilance, so it blocks really well. An opponent's having not the best time here, let's be honest. I've got the Elish Norn to swing it in again. If they do any particular shenanigans, I can always use the Vanish into Eternity to deal with what they're doing. I get rid of the Ossification, so I've now got the Bonepicker Scourge in hand up top again as well. And they just kind of shows the problem that they had. So they had a load of equipment in. Elish Norn stops them from creating the Rebel tokens, and yeah, that is just the only time I saw Elish Nolan, but it was really good, really powerful, and kind of when I saw what the opponent was struggling with, it was like, yeah, it was definitely worth putting in the deck. Here, against top 600 player here, got a okay hand and a little bit rubbish on the mana, but, you know, we can maybe get there. They start off with really strong, they've got the Evolve and Adaptive. Jovan Jules helps that a little bit. If they take a creature here, then they get to grow. They don't, they just get another Dross Skull Bomb. They can't attack through. Feeling pretty good. Get 2 poison on them. Get a decent blocker. They do give their thing 2 counters because they proliferate onto it, but they don't swing through. Happy here. I can offer Immortality to kill either one that I want, really, and definitely get rid of the Evolve and Adaptive. I do kind of lose the double striker, but I think it was a good attack to get in, and I've got a pretty good presence here. I've got that Blacksmith's Twilight in hand. You can see they've played this Charforger, and I haven't really seen them played until I was playing this deck, but I saw one in the last game, and now I'm seeing one here as well. So your second Charforger. This is another interesting game, another one where I thought it was like kind of interesting to play it. We managed to exile that one as well because we've got the Annex Sentry. We're going to hold up a little bit of stuff, just the Blacksmith's Twilight for, give something -1/-1. Play a third Charforger, so I had to check in the graveyard, make sure they didn't get it back from the graveyard somehow. But yeah, so they've got a 4th Charforger as well. So I've seen 4 Charforgers in like the top half of the deck, which is like pretty mad. I don't even know if they've got any more in the deck. And it's really difficult to play around 2 Charforgers like this, because when they remove, I think it's 3 counters from it, then they get to essentially draw a card, and yeah, it's I think draw 1 of 2. Can't remember exactly how it works. The Isle Gorge Troll here is really good as well. A really sweet kind of Jund list here, red, black, green, and it's like I say, it's quite tough to figure out what exactly I'm going to do. They block with the Isle Gorge Troll and 2 other things, and then take out the Isle Gorge Troll, take out the other 2 things, but they do get a bunch of counters on their Charforgers. I do get my Jovan Jules back. Pretty good if I can equip it with the Mirren Bardiche. The Cinderslash Ravager does take out a lot of my board, which is a little bit annoying, but I've got, you know, things in hand here. I can get rid of their Cinderslash Ravager. It doesn't trigger on the Charforgers, which is pretty good. And I can get in, take out 2 of their things with my creature with the Mirren Bardiche, but I can then equip that next, and, you know, that's a pretty nice situation to have. They get their Death Toucher, so that's a problem, really. We've got another Annex Sentry, and, you know, we can get rid of one of the Charforgers. They exile the top card of their library. They can't play that now, because it's like they can only play it on the same turn, so that's why I went for the one with the 3 counters on it, so that felt pretty good. Another Isle Gorge Troll. I'm starting taking some damage here, but the Bone Picker Scourge is great. A fantastic draw here, because I can play it and equip it. Now it's a 4/3 flying Death Touch Vigilance, and that means I can swing it every turn. It's stopping them from attacking with their stuff. Yes, they're swinging for 5, but I'm swinging for 4, and I'm gaining 4 each turn. I kind of take this a little bit here. I don't really want to trade, but you know, getting in with a Scourge, I've got a Complete Devotion there, and, you know, it can really help us get in what I need to do here. So I'm at 3 life. It's not a great position to be in, but we do have options, and it is kind of almost worth paying in that Bones Picker Scourge. We'll see what they do. They swing in with the team here. They do get make the Scrap Gorge a 3/3, but I can take out their 3/3s without risk to my Annex Sentries, and I can also cast the spell on the Jules Deep Faith, so it brings down their board quite a lot. The Fencing Raptor is fine here. It means I can swing in with the Bone Picker Scourge. I can play the Fencing Raptor. I'm not going to do anything with it, but I can fairly happily trade off the Bone Picker Scourge here, and I go to 10 life, take out their thing, and I've still got a 4/3 flying Vigilance creature, so it's something I can kind of swing in with. I've got the Charge Lamites as well, so that really made us feel good, because, you know, I've got that. I can cast it to take out anything of theirs that I really need to. So you can see the swing in here, or the thinking about it, at least I can't remember exactly how. Yeah, so the swing in here with the 3/3/3s, I can trade off my Jewels of Deep Faiths, and I can use the Charge Lamites on the last 3/3. Did I do that? No, I didn't. I must save that for a little bit later on. I'll go for the Charforger. So I wait for the counters to about to go on a Charforger, and then I remove it in response, so they don't get to have the counters on it, so they don't get to exile the top card of the library. So yeah, that felt pretty good. Still got Annihilating Glare in hand. I can cast it if I need to. I don't feel like I need to at this point. I can keep it in hand till next turn, in case they play something really, really good. We can see they just kind of swing out here. I've got some pretty safe blocks, and yeah, that's kind of game. So that deck did go 7-1. I was really happy with how it turned out. It was a pretty cool deck, good curve out deck. It was the best version of black-white deck I've played. I haven't really had good luck with black-white so far, so I'm pretty happy with how we ended. So yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. Let us know what you think of the video, the style of video that it is. I think it was a little bit fast in hindsight, but I think there is some worth in having the gameplay where it kind of zooms through a little bit and goes a bit faster than normal one. It makes it allows you to watch an hour and a half draft video in half an hour, and there we are. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope to see you again soon. Bye.